Okay, then the next page is Revelation 5:9. It says, you were killed. That's the crucifixion, isn't it? You were crucified, and by your death you what? Bought men for God. I have a little story I always tell here. Sometimes I get choked up and sometimes I don't, but hopefully I won't get choked up. But the little story is this. A little boy, let's say he's 10 years old. He just loves to do crafts and makes things. And so he goes down to the hobby store and he gets this little box where you can put together a sailing ship. You know, and some of them has really intricate detail on there. You got to put all the wood together to make this little sailing ship or something like that. For Trevor, we'll say it's like a ship for Pirates of the Caribbean or something like that. And he's going to make this thing. Well, he's got to put all the pieces together. He's got to paint all those little tiny parts, you know, and then very carefully glue all those parts on and everything. Put the mast on there. And a lot of hard work. 10 years old. And after a while, he's got it all done, and he is so proud. And so he thinks, I wonder if it will sail. So he goes out on the outer edge of town somewhere, and there's a huge pond or lake there. And he takes this boat that he's so lovingly made, and he puts it down in the water, and he shoves it off, and it's just floating wonderfully. It's incredible. And then unexpectedly, a breeze comes up, fills in the sails, and takes the little ship too far out in the water, and he can't get it back. And so the boat sails off on the other side. Well, of course, he's dejected, and he goes home. Well, what happens, he didn't know this has happened. Well, that little sailboat, after a couple hours, makes it all the way over to the other side of the lake. And another boy, who's, let's say, 16, 17 years old, finds the boat. Well, he doesn't want the boat because he's older, but he thinks, hey, this is really nice. I bet I could get some money for this down at the pawn shop. So he goes downtown, goes into the pawn shop. In a pawn shop, you know, you give this to the owner, and in exchange for the boat, the owner gives you what? Money. And so the 17-year-old goes off. He's happy. He's got his money. And because the owner of the pawn shop thinks this boat is really cute and good, and boy, he's never seen one quite like this before, he takes the boat and he puts it out in the display window where people can walk by and look at it. The next day, guess who's downtown? The little 10-year-old boy, right, who made the boat. And he's walking by the window, and he looks in the window, there's his boat. So he goes into the pawn shop and he goes up to the counter. The owner says, hey, that's my boat in the window there. I'd like to have it back. And the owner of the pawn shop says, well, son, I don't know if that's your boat or not. Well, it is. Well, I don't know that. I'm sorry. If you want that boat, you're going to have to buy it. But it's my boat. Well, I'm sorry. If you want the boat, you have to buy it. Oh. So he goes home, goes to his piggy bank in his room, cracks it open. Whew. He has exactly what he needs to buy that boat. But it takes everything that he's got. Okay? And he goes down to the pawn shop with his money, with a big smile on his face. He says, I want that boat. That's my boat. I shouldn't have to pay for this, but I'm going to pay for it. So he pays for it, right? Okay, the boat's yours. So they get it out of the window, and as he's walking out, he's holding that wonderful little boat there, and he says to the boat, I now own you twice. I made you, and when you went away, I bought you back. And that's what God has done for us. He made us, and yet we're born living for self, trying to do our own thing, ignoring God, right? And so to get us back, right, He buys us, not with silver or gold, but the blood of Jesus. And so now He owns us twice. He made us, and then when we drifted away from Him, He brought us back with the blood of Christ. And so we belong to Him. And that's why then we just can't live any way that we want, or on those occasions when we do, we call that confession. So we can receive God's forgiveness, which we have in abundance in Jesus Christ.